Yo, erhymessports in the building, yo. With the dunk. So, I'm back on my grind, erhymessports. We're going to continue my series about the starting fives with the Detroit Pistons and the Miami Heat. But first, rest in power, George Floyd. You know my view, my thoughts. It's all about healing humanity, Black Lives Matter, and I only deal in truth. And athletes have a voice. So I'm thankful for those who have used it. We'll be watching Drew Brees and Jake Fromm. We don't just take apologies. We want to see action, But let's see what goes on with Roger Goodell and the NFL and Bank of America and all these other places and people. So let's talk about the NBA coming back July 31st. Wizards make it in as a 9th seed as a play-in from the East, and then 13 teams in the West. So you go from the Grizzlies, and you got the Kings, Blazers, Spurs, Pelicans, and Suns. So 13 teams and 22 teams. So I think that's good. We're gonna play, I think 8 or 10 games to get to that 70 games for the TV contract, but it's only for 22 teams. So these other teams that were really trash anyway are not playing, but we don't need to see the Knicks and the Warriors and whatever. Their season was over. We'll get into that as it goes on. My prayers go out to the George Floyd family and Stephen Jackson, who was friends with him, and just everybody. And I just hope police can be held accountable. We need it's not just we need to say Black Lives Matter. We need criminal justice reform, police reform, laws, legislation to change. But we need economics. We never got our reparations, 40 acres and a mule. You can't have a 400-yard head start and then be like, okay, now boom, let's have a fair race. And then along the race, and it's 400 yards and it's an 800-yard race. And then along our track, you still got people throwing stuff at you, people hitting you while you're running, mud and snow and water, all the obstacles. And you just got a clear track and a 400-yard start. That's race in America. That's the sports analogy. So let's get to the Detroit Pistons. It's all-time starting five. At point guard, we got the third greatest point guard ever, Isaiah Zeke Thomas. From Chicago, from the University of Indiana, the champion. 2 titles with the Pistons, got the Olympics in 76 or 80, won the Olympics. I think it was 80. And just should have been on the dream team. Should have won 3 titles because they should have beat the Lakers in 87. They won 88 and 89. Or they won 89 and 90. But they should have won in 88. Remember, Zeke got hurt on the ankle. He fell on Cooper. And still in Game 6 dropped 42 points on Magic and the Lakers. But couldn't play in Game 7, and that's why the Lakers won that one. Their 5th championship, 5th and final. So when people try to hate on the Pistons and the Bad Boys, you can't. They were amazing. I saw it. It was great basketball. The shooting guard, it's Joe Dumars. Now, no disrespect to Chauncey Billups, no disrespect to Richard Hamilton at the 2, but they got the 1 title, and, they lost to the Spurs, but they beat that Laker team that was all discombobulated with Gary Payton and Karl Malone, and I don't even know how the Lakers lost, but they did. Kobe and Shaq were tired and they were fighting and all that stuff. But Pistons did go to 2 finals with that team. But Joe Dumars was the man. McNeese State, just an all-time defender, great shooter, scorer, could play the 2 and the 1. Was the beast. Would drop 20 a game. And back to Isaiah, just so you guys understand, before he was just, scoring his 21 and 22 a game, Isaiah used to score like almost 30 a game when it was him and Kelly Tripucka when he first came in the league in 79. Like his first couple of games, he was like, just dropping 30 a night. And the first couple of seasons, he was like, insane. At 6'1", tiny point guard. Him and Allen Iverson, and Nate Tiny Archibald, 3 of the smallest, greatest little point guards ever and guards ever, because Allen Iverson was technically a shooting guard. But so that's that. The small forward, Grant Hill. If you look at Grant Hill's stats, first 7 years before he got injured, before Kobe and him and Penny and Grant Hill was going in that place where Len Bias would have been really compared to and like the next Michael Jordan. Grant Hill was sick, insane, balling out, crazy skills and stats. I think the wind is slowing down, so we could take this on a walk, But just please know that. Okay. It's Grant Hill was insane. Dribble, shoot, pass. I was at the University of Maryland. Duke came. He dunked on our whole squad, the whole university, on the regular. And Grant could play defense. He had long arms. He's not the Grant Hill you saw later on at Phoenix and different places. After he got hurt when he first went to Orlando, he was never the same. Amazing. Power forward, you think about Rodman. Rasheed Wallace came and helped them win the title, but it's Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace was one of the greatest Pistons ever for years. He was defense and rebounds and this and that. And Rodman, if we're being honest, Rodman got a notch better the last year with Detroit, or the last 2 years with Detroit, but then really came into his own when he left, went to the Spurs, and then the run with the Bulls. Okay? That's the Rodman that you know and love, Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in rebounding, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row. From the Spurs to the Bulls. Okay? So, really, really amazing and just a beast. But Ben Wallace was that too, okay? And Ben Wallace neutralized Shaq to win that chip. It's amazing, okay? Big Ben Wallace, a Virgo, by the way. And same with Rasheed. And then the center, I went back and forth. I mean, we had James Edwards, we had Bill Laimbeer, Spider Sally. I had him on my show. Shout out to Ray and Tay today. Wish I had him on erhymessports too. But maybe I got to reach out to John Sally, right? But it's Bob Lanier. Now, you guys might not know, this is like back in the late 60s and 70s. Bob Lanier was the man at center. Had like size 22-inch feet, could score, he could pass, defense, rebound. And rest in peace to Wes Unseld from the Bullets. Won a championship and MVP, I think back in 68, 69, and won the title in 78 too. Wes Unseld was the man. So it's Bob Lanier at center, Ben Wallace at power forward, Grant Hill, small forward, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas. You ask, erhymessports, Eric Taylor, who is the sixth man? That's hard, because I could go Chauncey Billups, Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton. But I was watching that Bad Boys documentary, and the glue to it all, the sixth man's Bill Laimbeer, y'all. He was the defensive guy, the mental guy. He could rebound, pick and roll. He was hitting, deep deep 2-pointers and 3-pointers, a great shooting center, neutralized Parrish, messed up Bill Cartwright and the Bulls. I mean, Bill Laimbeer, took it, to Kareem in that year when they won the chip. Bill Laimbeer and the Pistons, and then, took care of Duckworth and the Blazers. Remember, the Pistons beat the Lakers and the Blazers, which were both two good teams. Blazers had a crew. Jordan beat him too after he beat the Lakers and then beat Barkley. So, but it was just amazing what Bill Laimbeer would do, okay? So that's your sixth man. That's the Detroit Pistons. Now you want to look at the Miami Heat. This one's difficult because it's a newer franchise and you don't have the longevity with certain players, but certain players were so great, even in lesser years, you got to put them in. But without a doubt, and there's so many guys you just got to give props to, but without a doubt, yeah, and even right now as I'm filming this, I might have to change the sixth man. But the point guard is Tim Hardaway, senior, okay? Tim Hardaway was the man. I think he went to UTEP, came in and was just killing them. Kill it, crossover, the Hardaway crossover, the three. You take it to the bucket and the foul and lay it up. The shooting guard, Dwayne Wade, okay? You know what Dwayne Wade did. 3-time champion, NBA Finals MVP, one of the best shooting guards ever. I rank him, I think it's Jordan, Kobe, and I got to give it to Wade over Jerry West. I think Dwayne Wade is the third best shooting guard of all time now because of the defense, because of the championships, and he could score like Jerry West. Jerry West didn't play the D that Dwayne Wade did. And Dwayne Wade in the playoffs was insane and won Finals MVP. And, you know, they could have beat the Mavericks. He could have had a fourth chip, but he got the one over the Mavericks the first time. And then they beat OKC with LeBron, and then they beat the Spurs with the Ray Allen shot. Small forward, and that's Flash. That's Dwayne Wizzy, okay? Shout out to Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Great couple, great family. Then it's King James, LeBron James, who right now, especially if he can get to the finals and win another one, I think he is going to pass Kareem to be the second greatest player of all time. Some will say he's already there. Kareem was amazing, okay? I mean, look at Kareem as the whole career. He changed rules in college basketball. Kareem was, Kareem. Plus, Kareem's been in my house. My father was friends with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, okay? So, watch yourself. Power Memorial, baby. The tower from Power. But LeBron James, King James, great for what he's doing for Black Lives Matter, civil rights, humanity. He's a good guy. His school in Ohio. How could you hate on LeBron? If you hate on LeBron, then you're like Laura Ingraham, and you just need to check your heart and your mind. LeBron's great. No human being's perfect, but he's great, you know. He has not always been clutch. He needed to learn how to be a leader from Dwayne Wade. But even with what he did at the Heat, he's the small forward for the Heat. Okay. Power forward. See, this is hard because in your heart, you just want to say Udonis Haslem, but he doesn't have the stats, you know? So I had to just go with Chris Bosh because I look at what he did when he was there, and yeah, he was the part of the Heatles and the third best player. But Chris Bosh was insane there and clutch and just really helped them win those chips, playing forward and center and just all types of lineups. Chris Bosh was the man. Now, I could have said, okay, let's put Glen Rice, but Glen Rice a pure three, you know. And then center, shout out to Ronnie Cycli and, Bam Adebayo right now, but it's Alonzo Mourning. Shaq got a chip, but Zoe was on that team. But Zoe was the heart and soul for the whole 90s, really, and early 2000s of the Miami Heat. Just the rebounds, the hard work, and the post, battling with Ewing and the Knicks, and just, Alonzo Mourning from Georgetown would give you the business. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's probably a top 12 best center of all time. I don't know if he's top 10. He's not better than Willis Reed and Wes Unseld and Patrick Ewing, but he's like 12 or 13, okay? He's better than Robert Parrish. Alonzo was dope. So six man, this is the dilemma. Do you just give it to Glen Rice? But then what about Jamal Mashburn? He had years with the Hornets, but he had a lot of good years with the Heat. But I think you got to give it to Glen Rice. Glen Rice used to drop buckets, okay? So I got it. And then you got Steve Smith. So, it's a toss-up. You're not going wrong. And for emotional people, you want to say Udonis Haslem. But you can't go wrong with Glen Rice, Jamal Mashburn, Steve Smith, or Udonis. I'm going Glen Rice, okay? And that's the Miami Heat all-time crew. Starting 5-6 man. I don't know what you do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm going to do some more of the poetry. So next up, who should I do next? Maybe vote and comment down below on YouTube or on the IG gram, Flim Flam. I'm going to tell you who I am. A mixture of Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and Aquaman. Aquaman was my favorite superhero growing up. Him and Thor. I would probably think about doing the Warriors. And maybe I'll do... Should I go East-West? Just the two East. So I'll do the Warriors and the Blazers next. How about that? Okay. I've already done Knicks and Nets, Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, Rockets. Now Pistons, Heat. We're going West Side, Warriors and Blazers on the next show, erhymessports. All right. We'll get back to talking some NFL. Roger Goodell, we're watching you. Say Colin Kaepernick's name and give him a job. Make it symbolic. He should be a backup quarterback. He's better than most of them anyway. Put him behind Kirk Cousins. He's probably better than Kirk Cousins. Let him be with the Minnesota Vikings. It's the cop, Chauvin. And I think he's Monday going to be in court. Wanted to kneel on George Floyd's neck there. Well, let the NFL hire Colin Kaepernick, which should have had a job and an apology. And you need to say his name. Let him be the backup quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. All right? Or you can back up Tannehill and the Titans. So, that's it. We're all about positivity and love, but we're about truth and change. Looking for my 40 acres and a mule, okay? Not a handout, but what my ancestors deserve for building this country. erhymessports in the building. Yo. Check the flow in all the scenarios. The E got to go. I'll give it to you, baby bro. Sports is coming back. The world is changing. Hold everybody accountable and vote November 3rd and get this punk out of office. Peace. erhymessports.